I'm so scared to do this video, but I kind of have to, and it's time. So I was in a very public relationship, and now I'm single, and we're gonna talk about that transition and how I've been navigating through that. Let me just start off this video by saying this is in no way, shape or form an attack to my ex-fiance or anybody in this story. This is not to paint anybody in a bad light or anything like that. This is just my story and how I'm healing from this. I've been really wanting to talk about this for the longest time, but I don't think I was at a comfortable place to do that, and now I feel a lot more confident, a lot more comfortable to talk about it, and that's exactly what I'm going to be doing today. I know that there is another 23, 24, 22-year-old female out there who is probably experiencing something similar and feels like life is done and gone, and you know, you're going through the worst. And I'm literally here to tell you, girl, get up. That's literally not the case. So let's talk about it. My relationship was very public, and while I would have wanted grace and privacy to navigate in moving from that relationship, I understand why that wasn't the case, because my relationship was so public. I mean, I got engaged to, proposed to on national television. I got proposed to live on television Jamaica. I mean, I can't expect people to not ask like, hey, what's going on with you and such and all of that jazz. I mean, I expect that. It's only fair because I included the entire world in our relationship. It's just right that I include the breakup as well. So I'm not going to tell you guys in full detail as to why we broke up and the happenings and the entire work. What I will say is that I think we were young. I think we were very young. At the time, I think I got engaged when I was 23. Yeah, I think I got engaged when I was 23. And I think, if I'm being honest, we were just two young adults trying to navigate this new life, these new responsibilities. And I think I gave it my best in terms of operating as an engaged woman, as somebody who is about to be married. And I think he did the exact same thing. I think we were very young and we tried to navigate the space as best as possible. And ultimately, this was the conclusion. This was the end. Like, people break up and that's fine. And now that I'm saying it publicly, I respectfully would like to move on from this chapter in my life. I feel as though that was a season for me, and I've come to the end of that season. My ex-fiance and I have been broken up for almost a year, and again, I'm just not comfortable talking about it on camera and to the entire world. I do wish though I can have the grace from the general public to navigate this new space, and to step into my own thing. I feel like recently, for example, I did a live and people kept commenting like, hey, what's happened to your engagement? What happened to you and such and such and such? And I mean, I feel like I've grown a lot from that situation, and I've tried my best to put myself in a better mental state, in a better place. And when people kind of ask about that, it's like a little reminder, like, hey, that's where you're coming from. And though I don't want to say like, oh my God, it's such a horrible experience, it's definitely not something I want to be reminded of consistently. So I guess I'm just asking if we could stop probably asking about that situation, because it's no longer in existence, right? Now that's out the way. So I was live on TikTok and some persons were asking me questions. So one of the questions is, were there deal breakers you kind of thought you'd get over / overlook and you thought you shouldn't have? That's a very good question. Coming out of this situation, most definitely. I think there were deal breakers in the beginning that I overlooked just because, hey, this person seems great and the potential seemed better than what was happening in present. The idea of what this person could become or what this situation could become probably seemed better at that, like it seemed better ahead of time, and I was like, yeah man, I can definitely work with this and all that jazz. There were deal breakers and I definitely shouldn't have overlooked them, and I must say that there probably were deal breakers on both ends. You know, all I'm saying is nobody fits and ticks every box that you have in terms of what you look for when you're going into a relationship. But what I do think is that for the majority, he checked a lot off my list, and I could say the same thing about me for him. That was it. But there were definitely deal breakers that I shouldn't have overlooked, and if I'm being honest with myself, those same deal breakers, because what I thought I was okay with 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I wasn't. I really wasn't. I really wasn't. And in the latter part of the relationship, that's when I realized that, hey, I know I said this doesn't mean that much to me, but actually it does. I'm starting to realize where, hey, this means a whole significance to me, a whole lot more to me, and you're not able to provide it. How can we compromise? You know? What incident or how did you see the beginning of the end? Wow. That's a good question. It's a very good question. It's a very good question. So let me just share a little bit of my journey with you guys and where I'm at today, because I'm so proud of myself. I think I've gotten to a point now where I'm better able to talk about it because I've gotten help and I am getting help, and it's a process. I'm still going through the process. It's just that I'm further in the process now than I was almost a year ago. Cool. We broke up, and I remember when we broke up, I drove to Kingston that very night. We broke up on a Monday. And I drove to Kingston that very night. I spent the night at my friend's apartment, and I had packed up my car with most of my clothes. My little car, tiny little car, packed up with bare clothes, right? The following morning, I woke up, it's Tuesday, and I went to work like nothing happened. Walked in, produced my show, did what I had to do. I was good. Nobody knew what was happening. I remember from that point on, every single lunchtime, like clockwork, lunchtime comes, I get up, I go to my car, and I cried. Every lunchtime. Every time I had lunch, that was my routine. Got in my car, I cried, I fixed my makeup, got back out of my car, went back in, produced the rest of my show, stayed, did my classes, did everything like usual, and then went home. Nobody could tell that I was going through it because I feel like I had to be strong for myself at that time, and I had to show up as my best self, because though I'm going through one of the worst breakups in my entire life, because I just broke up with the man I thought I would have spent my entire life with, life goes on. You realize quite quickly that life goes on, and I had to figure it out. I found an apartment, I moved in, and I remember that weekend I went to St. Elizabeth to my mom, and my mom and my stepdad took me to our home at the time, and I was taking up the rest of my belongings. I remember a significant moment where my mom was like, Rochelle, you know, take up the stuff them like the fridge and, you know, all the stuff, because, you know. And I said to her, no, it's fine, I'm good. I don't want to carry those memories with me. And my mom, for the love of me at that time, couldn't understand. Like, she's saying, if it was her, should I take up everything and gone? And I'm like, this is more than the stuff, mommy. This is more than me taking up a bed or a fridge or a table. This is me carrying those same memories with me into a new place, into a new setting, into a new season. And I don't want to do that. That's me carrying that trauma with me. I don't want to take anything. I left every single thing, and the only thing, earring drop. And the only thing I took with me was my clothes. Were my clothing. I didn't take anything else. I moved to Kingston, and for the first month, really, I slept on a air mattress in my living room. That is me moving out of a 5-bedroom house, 2 garage, kitchen, living room, 4 bathrooms. Like, that was a transition, girl. I'm telling you. Hey, I feel like God will take you from the highest heights, lower you down, humble you, so that you can be the best version of yourself. And that's what I think truly happened to me. I feel like even in making this video, and I'm not trying to be mean or like tear down anybody, but I feel like even in making this video, somebody out there who feels some type of way about me making this video. And the truth about it is, what's tea for you is testimony for me. And that's literally what it is right now. This is just testimony for me. And I thought it would have been appropriate for me to do this video now, because I'm at a place in life where I'm comfortable to talk about it now. And at that time alone, I was broken down. I felt humiliated. I felt hurt. I went through a lot alone, and I don't want that for another 23, 24-year-old individual out there, female, male, that might be going through something similar. Having a public relationship and breaking up, it's something that no one prepares you for. And again, I don't even want to discourage anybody from having a public relationship, because if that's what you have and you're comfortable with that, you love your person however you want to love your person. But understand that there are consequences with doing that, i.e. me. I mean, now I go about my regular business, and I have people asking me constantly, you know, hey, what's up with you and such and such. And I mean, how do I answer that question diplomatically, respectfully, and honestly, you know, without coming off disrespectfully? Because I want to tell you that, hey, that's none of your business, but that's not true. I included the entire generation, the entire world into our relationship because it was on social media. How now can I come and say, oh, it's none of your business when things are bad, when I included you guys when things were good? So if I'm being honest, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out how to navigate this properly, because I've never done this before, and I've never had this before. So that's something, right? So bear with me. Work. There was another evening where I remember I came in from work, and as I stepped through the door, I started having a panic attack. I mean, I can't breathe. I'm out of breath, like I'm fighting, and it was so scary for me. And so I'm having this panic attack. I take out my phone, and I couldn't even unlock it. I only had to say, like, you know, hey Siri, call da 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 da, and oh, not no Siri. So So I told her to call my mom, and my mom on speakerphone, and I was so flustered. I was crying, uncontrollably. I was emotional, I couldn't contain myself, and I just remember not being able to breathe, and I was trying to calm myself down, and I was just crying, and my mom, she was just saying, calm down, Rachel, calm down. That wasn't helping, and she just started praying. She just started praying. I mean, she just started praying for me over the phone. Like, she just started deliver me, and I couldn't forget that conversation. When I calmed down after that, I remember us talking, and it was the first since the breakup that I had spoken about it honestly to somebody about how I feel. Because if I'm being honest, you know, this is somebody that you thought you'd have married. And you've been with this person for 5 years. It's very emotional. You cannot deny that you would have had love for this person, that you would have cared for this person. So it hurts. It's definitely a lot of emotions that you go through in processing all of this. It's basically like you lost someone. And I spoke to my mom about it, and leaving that conversation, I decided to get professional help. I got a counselor, and I started working through that medium. That helped me significantly. And I did counseling for a few months. It was going really well, really well. The things that I've had to do is to become comfortable with this new reality for me. I've had to live life for what it is currently. So no, I'm no longer in that situation, and that's fine. At my current state, I just want to tell you guys how cool I am now, like how good I am now. Since leaving that relationship, I feel like I'm finding myself. I journal. I'm a journal here. Like, I journal a lot more now. I have devotions. I won't say every day, but I'm more consistent now than I was when I was, you know. And I think I'm doing what I should be doing at 24 years old, you know. I'm living life. I'm making mistakes, and I'm learning. I'm making new friends. Oh my God. I'm making friends, and I can do what I want to do. I can wear what I want to wear, and I can go where I want to go, you know. And yes, I will say that there are times when I'm like, oh, you know, I really miss my person, or I miss having a person particularly. And that's okay. Like, that's a part of life, you know. Like, sometimes you get lonely. Embrace the emotions, and that's something that I've been doing. If in this moment I feel lonely, I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm actually lonely right now. I'm not going to pretend as if I'm not lonely. And if I'm happy, I'm happy, and I try to be where my feet are. I try to be present. I'm so proud of myself for where I'm at today, and I don't think I would have been the person I am today had I not gone through what I gone through. And I don't necessarily want to go in depth about everything and tell you guys the ins and outs, but yeah, I think God did his big one, and I think I did my big girl thing too. And I'm proud of myself. I'm making this video because there's a community out there for me. I think there are a group of like-minded people like myself who have endured some level of hardship, and I know society frowns upon it for us to be like, oh my God, you are engaged, I know you're no longer engaged, like, oh, rotten food. And you know, I know there is a community out there of like-minded people who are honest, who are authentic, who are pure, and who are vulnerable and have no problem with sharing and encouraging and enlightening other people. And I feel like that's just where I'm at right now. I'm not afraid to talk about it, to express how I feel, to go through what I go through, because I'm human. And I was fighting alone in silence, and I realized how much that almost unalived me. I realized how much that took from me. I mean, I went through it, girl. I went through it. I went through it. I don't think a lot of people understand, but when you see people out there sharing their story and they're talking, give them grace, give them the room, give them the floor to express themselves, because you never know how much or how much that would be helping them. Because I literally just came off TikTok live and I was sharing snippets about these experience, and I feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulder. Oh my gosh. I don't want anybody to think like life is perfect and it's all mellow and all of that jazz. And I think that's really what I want my content to represent moving forward. Just the reality of life, and how I transition and how I navigate through these different seasons, because I don't think you're ever stagnant in a particular season. I mean, you might be in a season for a while, but I think we experience different seasons in our lives, and we have to learn to embrace whatever season we're in. No, I feel like I'm just now learning more about myself, and I'm growing and I'm becoming like a better version of me, and I'm learning more about me as an individual. I started running, I started jogging, I started hiking. I do workout sessions now, and I just feel better. Mentally, I'm way better than I was when all of this transpired as given. I was going through a lot, and even though now life is lifing, I feel better, and I feel at peace, and I feel more me than ever before. Like, I feel true to myself. That has been what has been going on. Again, thank you guys so much for your love and the virtual hugs on TikTok. I appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe, because I will be posting a lot more videos over here. And I just look forward to building this community with you guys and finding people in my own niche, and having like-minded people. I can't wait to see where this journey brings us and where I'll end up. Yeah. I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye.